so much for being here today and for being willing to share your story. So I'll start the clock. 7 minutes is yours, and you may go. Thank you.
Thank you. So first, everyone, my name is Cynthia Alvarado, and I'm a survivor of hell, which is solitary confinement. The Department of Corrections is supposed to correct. However, it does the contrary by using solitary confinement as punitive measures, which is dehumanizing within itself. That sensory deprivation and restriction to social contact induced my mental health. And I'm going to tell you guys how. I spent 12 years in prison wrongfully convicted. I won my federal appeal in 2019, and I came home, but I'm not the same person. I can tell you that. I'm going to testify to 3 stories of 3 women who I know that ended their lives while in solitary. And I watched this, and I have to live with those scars every day. I was shipped to SCI Muncie, where I was sentenced to life without parole, and I started to work at the infirmary of the prison. One of my comrades, she was in solitary confinement, and she threatened to end her life, so they brought her to the hospital ward, and she was on suicidal watch. My job was to give her the food, and when I gave her her food, it had Jell-O all over it, but she was allergic to Jell-O. So I asked the officer, please let me walk to the kitchen and grab her another tray, and he told me to mind my business. And my comrade ended her life that night while on suicide alone. I came the next day looking for her, and she was gone. I'm here today for her. One of my other comrades came to the hospital to seek help, and she was denied medical care. She was turned back to the unit. The officer told her, push your chair faster and get to your housing unit. She could not. She was taken to the hole in front of me, where she died later that night for just asking for medical care. And as an American, I'm embarrassed about that, because we are supposed to be the best country in the world. She died alone, and she did nothing wrong. She disobeyed an order by not pushing her chair fast enough. Another story, one of my comrades who I was with in Philadelphia was also shipped to SCI Muncie. She had mental health issues, and they were constantly putting her in the hole. And we were telling them she's not strong enough to survive in there. And she started to play in her own feces. She started to eat her own feces, and my job was to clean up her feces. So imagine how I had to feel when she ended her life. I'm here for them, because they are not here. And I can tell you this, that we are hurting people. And then we wonder why, after a decade, people are committing crimes when they are released, because they are coming out worse than when they came in. I spent 240 days in solitary confinement before I was even convicted. I was innocent before proven guilty. And later on, after 12 long years, the judge gave me my life back, and I thank him. But I contemplated suicide every day. And I can tell you that the conversations in my mind were, where am I going to hang myself? Where? On this side or that side? And that's a real testimony. So not only was I fighting the American criminal justice system, I had to fight my own self from killing myself. And I'm crying because I still have those suicidal thoughts. And I still push them out of my head because I have to tell myself that I'm worth it. And I ask all of your colleagues to look at this not as a political issue, but as a human issue. We are hurting people. And I had to witness that. You guys don't witness it because you're not in there. We have to live with each other. And then when they're taken out in body bags, those scars remain. And I can tell you that the list goes on and on and on. Many of my comrades killed themselves while in solitary. But my speech today is limited. And I can tell you, don't be limited in your thinking. So your colleagues who oppose this type of solitary, I ask you to think about your child, because it could happen to your child. And when you are in prison, your status doesn't matter, because they are trying to perpetuate the status quo and leave us in there. I am begging you to end solitary confinement. I am asking you to give them the proper help that they need. And with that being said, I thank you all for listening. Thank you so very much.
I just want to say thank you, because I know it's not easy to relive what you went through, and to come in and to share your story and to have to advocate on behalf of yourself and others we're grateful, but it's emotionally exhausting. So I just wanted to say thank you for speaking for those who are no longer with us or those that may not have the same strength as you. I wrote down as you're speaking some of the things that you just said, and I think to know that you were able to survive that, even though you should have never been through it in the first place, I just want you to know that you are worth it, and that your words will help move this mountain, and just to say thank you for being here, and we'll certainly have questions as we get to the next panelist. I think Lisa Kessler, is she on Zoom? I know she was dealing with some last minute things, so I'm not sure. Okay, so we will move on then to